So, I remember playing Super Metroid when I was a kid and getting stuck pretty early in the game, then quitting. The only Castlevania game that I played or I even remember playing was there was a Castlevania game for the Game Boy Advance, and I don't remember the name like off the top of my head, but I guess I got a decent amount into that game. I was a kid and this was a long time ago, so probably, I mean, in all seriousness, I probably wasn't that far, but it felt like I was. But I do remember that I got stuck and then I quit. And that was it. That was the extent of my Metroidvania experiences. So I just kind of figured that this genre just wasn't for me, and the genre as a whole kind of faded from my gaming consciousness. That is until one day, like 5 years ago or something, I was browsing on my Xbox. I was browsing Game Pass for something to play, something new. And one game caught my eye, and it was a game that had this beautiful and unique art style and like this really, really gorgeous color palette. And I didn't know it was a Metroidvania. I had heard of Ori before, just kind of in passing, but I didn't know what kind of game it was. But it looked amazing, and so I downloaded it. And soon enough, this game would become one of my all-time favorite games, and a game that I incessantly and somewhat annoyingly recommend to people all the time. And also a game that led me down the rabbit hole of Metroidvanias. And yes, before I start this video properly, this game did lead me to play the equally classic Hollow Knight. The Hollow Knight fandom is stronger than Ori's, and I definitely have come across that. So yes, I've beaten Hollow Knight. I have not 100%ed it. But yeah, so Ori led me into this new love of this genre. And I've played games like, obviously I said Hollow Knight, but like Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, I believe that's what it's called. The Prince of Persia game that just came out, I think earlier this year. I'm working my way through that like right now. And there's still some more I have to play, like what's it called? Axiom Verge is one that I still need to play, and one of these days I'm going to have to go back and play Super Metroid and the other Metroid games, Metroid Prime. So Ori and the Blind Forest is a visually stunning and emotionally resonant action platformer Metroidvania developed by Moon Studios and published by Microsoft in 2015. From its beautifully hand-painted landscapes to its masterful score and intricate gameplay mechanics, Ori delivers a deeply memorable experience that has gone on to captivate players worldwide. At its core, Ori is a tale about loss, love, perseverance, and the delicate balance of nature, all conveyed through an evocative blend of art, music, and storytelling. So, the game follows Ori, a small and, might I say, cute as fuck spirit thing, and sign or sane, a glowing orb that kind of follows Ori around and serves as Ori's guide and source of power throughout the game. And together they embark on a quest to save the decaying forest of Nibble, which is where Ori lives. And Nibble has been like dying and thrown into chaos basically after I'll just say like a tragic event. The game's emotional weight is established right from the beginning of the game, literally within the first 10 minutes. So what I'm saying here, I guess you could consider it a spoiler, but it happens at the very beginning of the game. We'll just say, as Ori is separated from their paternal figure, Naru, in a heart-wrenching and gut-punching and just sad opening sequence. And that just totally sets the tone for the entire game and your journey. And that is literally the foundation which this entire game is built upon. So this foundation is one of the game's strongest elements, and it drives players to become invested in Ori's quest to restore the forest and uncover the uncover the mysteries surrounding its downfall. So yeah, I'm talking like Pixar's up levels of pain. And one thing, all this is done without dialogue. It's just environmental storytelling and great animation, which really shows like the talent and creativity of Moon Studios, that they were able to pull off such an emotional grab right at the beginning of the game without any spoken dialogue other than the quote-unquote God narrator. The narrative, though simple and told mostly through visual cues and very sparse narration, like I said, is incredibly effective in its emotional delivery. So every character, from the stoic and motherly Naru to the villainous yet tragic Kuro, is imbued with this depth and relatability, which makes the story feel like it's kind of a living and breathing fairy tale. The lack of heavy dialogue allows players to connect with the world and its inhabitants on a more primal or deep level, emphasizing these themes of like connection, survival, and redemption. And like I just love the choice to go with basically no dialogue, because I feel like if it did have dialogue, the game would have lost its mystical nature and sense of wonder. And also it would have felt like a little like emotional hand-holding. You know what I mean? Like, as opposed to letting, the events just play out in front of the player and the player themselves just kind of come to their own conclusions regarding how they feel. So yeah, I think that was a great choice, in my opinion. Visually, Ori is just breathtaking, right? I don't think that's hyperbole. If you haven't played it yet, just give it a shot if you feel like it, because even before playing it and just checking out the screenshots, it did not do it justice to when I actually booted up the game and started playing around with it. Moon Studios' hand-drawn art style creates a very lush and vibrant world that feels both inviting and dangerous. So each biome of the forest is like distinctly crafted. It has its own vibe and feel, from the glowing ethereal Ginso tree. And you guys know what part of the Ginso tree is very hard to beat, and I'll probably throw that footage in at some point here. To the dark and treacherous caverns of Forlorn Ruins. So look, the attention to detail is amazing. Every background element and every animation contributes to this immersive atmosphere. There's a very strong sense of like background and foreground that Moon Studios really likes to play with, and a lot of storytelling goes into that. And it's really cool. I've never seen a game do that. Maybe there are games out there that play with the foreground and background like that, but I just haven't played one. It feels like a living, breathing world. And also like the fluidity of Ori's movement when you're actually playing, combined with like the environmental design, it really makes navigating the forest feel like you're dancing through a painting. You might think I'm like just glazing the game here, but no, like if you play this game at 120 hertz or more, but at least 120 hertz, it feels like that. And even at 60 frames on console felt good at the time, but I've since moved on to PC for a lot of my gaming stuff. The game's atmosphere is further enhanced by its exceptional soundtrack. Composed by Gareth Coker, the music is I'm talking a vital component of the emotional experience. It has sweeping orchestral arrangements that range from haunting to melancholic to triumphant and hopeful and kind of everything in between, mystical and mysterious and foreboding. The score perfectly complements the visuals. It guides players through this emotional journey, like the highs and the lows of the story, while adding depth to the narrative's themes of beauty and tragedy. You know, of all the things I love about Orient, there's a lot. There's a big old list. The score is probably my favorite and most impactful. You know, I still listen to the OST to this day, you know, like not every day, but if I'm like just want to fall asleep and I can't sleep and I just want to throw on some peaceful music, Ori is right up there. So the music's just gorgeous. It really is. While Ori is often praised for its aesthetics and emotional impact and story, its gameplay, in my opinion, is equally deserving of that level of praise. You know, it's a challenging platformer, especially certain parts that require precision, timing, and strategic thinking. Players have to navigate complex environments filled with traps, puzzles, and enemies, using Ori's acrobatic abilities and various power-ups unlocked throughout the game. The game's mechanics are super tightly polished with like very responsive controls that make even like the most difficult platforming sequences feel fair and satisfying. So while you may die over and over and over, each time you're learning how to get from A to B and navigating, you know, all these traps and stuff. And you will get it eventually. Trust me. There was a time when I thought I wouldn't, but I did. Because the game designs is very intuitive like that, where you're always inching forward. You're inching in progress towards the goal. And that's one thing I really, really love about the game. You really feel like you're gliding screen to screen. The movement is very fluid and fast. So there is a great sense of inertia in the movement that makes platforming like super duper fun and makes it my personal favorite in the entire genre. I love Hollow Knight for different reasons, but for me, like no Metroidvania can match the movement of Ori. One of the game's most innovative features is the Soul Link system. This allows players to create save points at any location. This mechanic adds a layer of strategy as players must manage their energy resources to decide when and where to save the game. This kind of prevents player frustration because you're not really forced to restart super long sections of the game after making a mistake. But there's plenty of times where I forgot to save and I had to restart those very same long sections. So make sure you save. It's a cool feature. So yeah, there is a balance between challenge and accessibility. This kind of offers a sense of accomplishment without becoming too overwhelming. And trust me, I made a very good use of this feature because I did, and you will die a lot, at least on your first playthrough. The game also incorporates a sense of progression that's central to the Metroidvania genre. As Ori gains new abilities, previously inaccessible areas of the forest become open for exploration, which is pretty typical. So it encourages a lot of backtracking and it rewards players for finding new secrets and hidden upgrades. This constant evolution of gameplay keeps the experience fresh and engaging. So players are always learning new techniques and mastering their environment. Ori and the Blind Forest is a rare gem in the world of video games. It's a perfect marriage of art, music, storytelling, and gameplay, each element working harmoniously to create an unforgettable experience. The game's emotional depth combined with its artistic brilliance and challenging platforming mechanics make it stand out amongst other Metroidvania titles, and it will resonate with you long after the credits roll. It's a testament to the power of video games as a medium, capable of telling profound stories and evoking deep emotions through interactive art. Thank you all for watching. Let me know what your favorite biome is in Ori, and also what's your favorite aspect of the game. Like I said, I love the music, and my favorite biome is actually the first one, which is the Sunken Glades. It's your intro into the game, and I guess I just remember the feeling of being there and kind of knowing I was in for a special experience. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and God bless.